Do you know who was the first woman to fly solo non-stop across the Atlantic Ocean? Today, I will discuss about the life and adventures of this noble woman. Let's go! Amelia Earhart is a name that resonates far beyond the world of aviation. Known for her daring spirit and groundbreaking achievements, she became a symbol of determination and courage. Earhart's legacy is most famously marked by her historic flight across the Atlantic Ocean, where she became the first woman to fly solo over this vast expanse. But her story is much more than just one flight. It is a tale of persistence, passion, and breaking barriers that had long held women back from the skies. Amelia Mary Earhart was born on July 24, 1897, in Atchison, Kansas. From an early age, she displayed a strong-willed and adventurous personality. Her upbringing was unconventional for a girl of her time. Parents encouraged her to explore and be curious. Amelia's father, Edwin, was a railroad worker, and her mother, Amy, was from a wealthy family. Despite the occasional financial instability due to her father's alcoholism, Amelia's childhood was filled with opportunities to engage in traditionally boyish activities, like climbing trees and hunting. Earhart's first encounter with aviation came in 1908 when she attended the Iowa State Fair and saw a plane for the first time. However, it wasn't love at first sight. She was more interested in the mechanical aspects than the idea of flying. It wasn't until years later, in 1920, that a 10-minute flight in a biplane ignited her passion for aviation. That brief flight over Los Angeles changed her life, and she knew she had to learn to fly. Amelia's decision to pursue aviation was not an easy one. At a time when few women even considered flying, the idea of a female pilot was almost unheard of. Yet Earhart was determined. She worked various jobs to save money for flying lessons, including driving a truck and working as a stenographer. In 1921, she finally took her first flying lesson from Netta Snook, one of the few female flight instructors at the time. Earhart quickly proved herself to be a natural pilot. In 1922, she set her first women's flying record by soaring to an altitude of 14,000 feet in her bright yellow Kinner Airster biplane, which she fondly nicknamed the Canary. By 1923, she earned her pilot's license from the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale, becoming the 16th woman in the world to do so. Despite these accomplishments, Earhart's path was fraught with challenges. The aviation industry was dominated by men, and societal expectations placed enormous pressure on women to conform to traditional roles. Earhart faced financial difficulties and the skepticism of those who doubted a woman's ability to succeed in such a demanding field. But with every obstacle, her resolve only grew stronger. As Earhart's skills and reputation grew, so did her ambitions. In 1928, she received a phone call that would change her life forever. The call was from Captain Hilton H. Rayleigh, asking if she wanted to be the first woman to fly across the Atlantic. However, this opportunity came with a catch. She would not be the pilot, but a passenger, along with pilot Wilmer Stultz and co-pilot Lewis Gordon. Despite this, Earhart agreed, understanding the symbolic importance of the journey. On June 17, 1928, the trio departed from Newfoundland, Canada, in a Fokker F-7B-3 named Friendship. After a 20-hour flight, they landed in Buryport, Wales, making Earhart the first woman to cross the Atlantic by air. Though she had not piloted the plane, the achievement catapulted her into the spotlight, earning her the nickname Lady Lindy in comparison to Charles Lindbergh, who had made the first solo non-stop flight across the Atlantic in 1927. This accomplishment fueled Earhart's determination to make her mark as a solo aviator. Over the next few years, she continued to break records, including becoming the first woman to fly solo non-stop across the United States in 1932. But her mind was set on an even greater challenge: crossing the Atlantic alone. On May 20, 1932, Amelia Earhart took off from Harbor Grace, Newfoundland, in her Lockheed Vega 5B. She was bound for Paris, aiming to replicate Lindbergh's historic flight. However, the journey was far from smooth. Earhart faced a series of challenges, including strong winds, icy conditions, and mechanical problems. At one point, her altimeter failed, forcing her to fly dangerously low over the ocean. After battling these obstacles for nearly 15 hours, Earhart realized she wouldn't make it to Paris and decided to land in a pasture near Londonderry, Northern Ireland. Despite not reaching her intended destination, she had successfully crossed the Atlantic solo, becoming the first woman ever to do so. The world was astounded by her bravery and skill. Earhart was greeted with fanfare and admiration, solidifying her status as an aviation pioneer. Her flight wasn't just a personal victory, it was a milestone for women everywhere, proving that gender should not limit what one can achieve. After her transatlantic triumph, Amelia Earhart continued to push the boundaries of what was possible in aviation. She became an advocate for women in aviation, encouraging them to pursue their dreams in a field that had long been dominated by men. In 1935, she became the first person to fly solo from Honolulu, Hawaii, Oakland, California, a 2,408 miles journey across the Pacific Ocean. Earhart's influence extended beyond her flights. She was instrumental in forming the 99s, an international organization for female pilots that still exists today. She also served as a career counselor at Purdue University, inspiring young women to pursue careers in engineering and science. Her speeches and writings reflected her belief in the potential of women, and she became a symbol of women's empowerment. Earhart's achievements were not just about setting records, they were about challenging the status quo and opening doors for future generations of women. Amelia Earhart's most ambitious and final flight began on June 1, 1937, when she set out to become the first woman to circumnavigate the globe. Flying a Lockheed Model 10E Electra, she and her navigator, Fred Noonan, embarked on a journey that would cover approximately 29,000 miles. The flight was meticulously planned, with 80% of the journey successfully completed. However, on July 2, 1937, while en route to Howland Island in the Pacific Ocean, Earhart and Noonan disappeared. Despite extensive search efforts, no trace of the plane or its occupants was ever found. The mystery of Earhart's disappearance has led to countless theories, ranging from a crash at sea to capture by the Japanese military. Let us know in the comments section if you have any thoughts or specific information about it. The uncertainty surrounding her fate only added to her legend. While the world mourned the loss of a brave pioneer, Earhart's disappearance left a legacy of unanswered questions and enduring fascination. Amelia Earhart's legacy is one of courage, perseverance, and a relentless pursuit of her dreams. She shattered stereotypes and defied the limitations placed on her by society, paving the way for future generations of women in aviation and beyond. Her achievements continue to inspire, reminding us that barriers, whether in the sky or in our minds, are meant to be broken. Today, Earhart is remembered not just as a pioneering aviator, but as a symbol of what is possible when determination meets opportunity. Her story has been told and retold in books, films, and documentaries, each time reminding us of her remarkable journey and the impact she left on the world. Amelia Earhart's life was a testament to the power of following one's passion, no matter the obstacles. Her journey from a curious child in Kansas to a world-renowned aviator is a story of breaking barriers and inspiring others to do the same. Her tragic disappearance in 1937, while attempting to circumnavigate the globe, marked the end of her life, but not the end of her legacy. Earhart's death remains one of the greatest mysteries of the 20th century, but her life continues to be a beacon of inspiration. As we reflect on her contributions to aviation and her role in advancing women's rights, we are reminded that her spirit lives on in every person who dares to dream beyond the horizon.